Welcome back. On today's show, The Science of Sleep, we've been discussing why we need sleep, and we've been discussing our dreams and Maria's funny rapid lip movement. And joining us in the studio is infant sleep consultant Helen Broadhead. Hi Helen, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Glad to have you on the show. Now Helen, for those who do not know, what is an infant sleep consultant?
Well, our job, we go into people's homes and we look at over 24 hours. So what's happening in their day, their routine, their children, their eating, and we help provide a routine that works for an individual family, because obviously every family is different. You know, some have 2 children, 1 children, work, there's all sorts of factors. And we help them, show them how to put their babies to sleep and the changes that we make. Like you said earlier, you had to make some changes to your lifestyle to help you sleep. And it's exactly the same with children. But when they're so tired, you can't see the wood from the trees. So it just needs somebody to come in and help you and clarify things and point things out and tweak it a little bit, you know?
So what are some of the things that make it hard for a child to go to sleep?
Watching TV 10 minutes before they need to go to bed. It's all about the wind down. So after dinner, you know, it's quiet time, calm time, no TV, no playing on a trampoline, you know, no parents coming in from work and going, yay, I've missed you, and bouncing on the bed. You know, it's coming in and bath and a story and setting the tone that it's nighttime. You've got to change the tone from daytime to nighttime. And it just needs a little bit of tweaking sometimes. Families just need that little bit of help.
Yeah, I can imagine, because if for parents who lead a very busy lifestyle, like I mean, they work and then they have to come in, and it's the time that they have to bond with their children.
And they miss their children.
Child,
they miss their children, you know, but equally they want their children to sleep. So you need to keep it calm, still have fun, but do it in a more, you know, calm, relaxed way, like over bath time, and read 4 stories, have cuddles, you know, and include your children, closing the curtains, getting your pyjamas ready. Yeah, so it's just setting the tone for sleep.
Yeah. We do hear a lot as well about sleep training babies.
Yeah.
How cruel do you think that is to allow, because I've come across it, having working with children for many years, I've come across it, that how cruel do you think it is to leave a baby to cry overnight? And actually, when should that, if parents do it, when should they start doing this?
We don't say you leave your child to cry. We do it in a nice way where you're back in to reassure them and make sure they're fine. They need to know that their mummy and daddy's there with them, but we need to set the tone that we're there and we love you, but it's time to sleep. So you're not going in for a chat and a cuddle, and, you know, are you going in to sort of reassure them and to let them know it's sleep time and it's fine. You're fine. You're in your nice bed and mummy and daddy are here, you know, we love you, but it's time to sleep. And, you know, if you preempty all of their things that they may be asking for before they go to bed, i.e. I'm hungry, so they have a banana before they go to bed, I'm thirsty, they have a drink, I'm cold, make sure they get warm up. All these things you think they're going to ask, preempt all of that before they go to bed. So when they shout out, mummy, you know, I'm hungry, you can be, actually, you've had your tea, you've had a banana, and you can be really confident in yourself and quite firm and be, it's time to sleep, you know, you're fine, you've just had a banana or whatever they're eating. So they're not pulling at your heartstrings all the time, so preempt it all first. So yes, they will be crying, but there's crying if you're sat next to them, there's crying if you leave the room, but I would never condone just leaving them to cry for long periods with no reassurance from.
What age do you think?
If we was to start a new plan, we'd say from 6 months plus. If we were going into a baby, that's when we'd start it. But before 6 months, you can start good sleep habits, good sleep routines, putting them down with no props, so that when they wake in the night, they can knit their sleep cycles together, and they don't need mummy and daddy. So you can start all of that before they're 6 months. Yeah, and
So how did you become from nanny to advisor?
Right. I've got 2 children of my own as well, and as a nanny and doing night nanny, and mums always used to come to me for advice when when the wheels fell off, i.e. the baby was ill or they'd been on holiday and they'd come home and, they won't sleep and what am I doing? And I just found it really, really, really interesting. And you just see the transformation from a child that slept well, that hasn't, and I just was really, really interested. So I got lots of experience, and then I backed it up with training courses and facts, basically. And I really like it. It's lovely to see a family. You go in and everybody's tired, and then a week later they're all happy and they're having such a lovely time with their family, rather than, like you were saying earlier, being quite cranky. And the transformation's great, all because of sleep, and lots of parents know what they're doing, they just get a little bit lost, because they're really good parents. It's this guilt that us mothers feel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey?
Can a mother who's anxious and not sleeping properly affect the child then?
Yeah, it rubs off, it does. Like you were saying earlier, if you're feeling tired, you might be a little bit more snappy. So rather than saying, let's choose a book, where's your book? What book we're going to read? So if you're well rested, let's find a nice book, come and sit on mummy's knee, let's have a cuddle, and it's calm and it all passes on to the child.
So do you have advice for the mothers as well as the children as well?
Definitely. Yeah. Try not to do it all, ask for help. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We all need help. Ask your family, ask a professional, ask your neighbour. If you're feeling tired, there's no shame in asking for help at all. And when your child's sleeping, rest yourself. If you can't sleep, put your feet up. Watch TV or ring your friend, read a book, but just quiet time where you're switching off and having time for yourself. Forget the dishes, they'll be there tomorrow.
Helen, sometimes when we're very busy, we miss the signs. I mean, there are signs that are clear to someone else, that may be clear to someone else, but are not clear for us. So a family who's watching and their children are not having enough sleep, what are the things that they should be looking for in their child, the signs that they should be looking for in the child that are indicators that their child are not sleeping well or is not sleeping well?
They'd be quite grumpy. Everything would be a drama. Simple things. Do you want to pop your shoes on? Oh, I got my shoes on. Like really tearful, not eating well. They can't focus as well at school, which is, not great for the child. There's lots of signs, and they're just really cranky and quite tearful, to be honest.
Have you ever gone to advise parents and you haven't been able to get that child to sleep through the night?
Never. There's always a time scale.
There's always a success rate.
There's always a time scale to this because it's consistency. And if you're doing all the groundwork, the nights will flow. But if you're reacting to the child in an anxious way, it might take a little bit longer, shall we say.
They feed off that, do they?
Yes, they feed off of that, yeah.
So what would be the average time then to kind of come into a family and change and be able to change their routine to a stable routine?
It depends on the methods that you choose. You can do a more gradual way that can take 2 weeks to 2 months.
So that's not very long.
Which is a slower approach. As I say, it all depends on the individual family. Or you could do, you've probably heard of controlled crying, where you're in and out of the room, in and out to reassure them. That's quite a quicker approach because it's very fast. You know what you're doing, the child knows what to expect, and it doesn't really change very much. So 3 nights and you see a huge improvement. Huge improvement.
That's really true what you're saying, because I've worked with children for many years now.
Yeah.
And I've seen the difference. I've really seen the difference in their sleep pattern.
Yes.
I've worked with family that, as I said, we leave them to cry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, going in every so often to reassure them.
Absolutely.
And some of them have dummies. Some of them have a dummy that they sleep with. And if that dummy has fallen out of their mouth, they want it back in their mouth. So you go back in and you put it and just a little stroke. Okay, go back to sleep now. So you go out. It's going to happen. It'll probably happen for about.
Sat next to them.
Exactly,
they've got an expectation. So they're like, you're sat there and you're not doing anything. So
it's like the comfort, isn't it?
They'll cry, you know, to try and make you do something, and then they feed off the way that you react. So if you're quite strong and can sit there and be very focused, great. But if you can't, just step away a little bit, and then keep going back.
Yeah, because even babies at 6 months, they really know how to play their parents up.
Oh, completely.
Seriously, at 6 months, I have seen children really playing their parents up. The minute the parents just like move away from, like even just from here to there, that's it. They're crying. But and they really do play up on that. And some parents, because and especially if it's their first child. Now that is the danger.
I'm a mum as well, and I understand it really pulls at your heartstrings. Do you know? And it makes you feel inside, you know, like, oh, I need to fix it, because we all like to fix things. They are allowed to play out their emotions. You know, we don't have to fix everything and actively fix everything. You know, it's something that you need to learn to do yourself. It's a life skill. And like I was saying earlier, you said about the dummy falling out, so you go back in, you pop it in. That's getting you in the room. That's why I say try and encourage no props from the beginning, and then you won't find yourself in a problem in a situation where you are going back in for the dummy, because you know the dummy will make them sleep, but they might not be old enough to find it themselves.
Exactly.
My son had a dummy. I put 10 dummies in the cot. You will find a dummy, do you know? I'm not coming in to give you a dummy. There's 10 in there, do you know? And you'd hoover and they're all under the bed, and if you can't find it, Archie, you're not having it. You know? I'd buy loads, they're all in there. And I never had any problems. I never had any problems. But it's confidence as well, isn't it? You know,
I think the mindset that I'm the one who sets the tone for my child. So kind of, if parents switch that mindset and they know that, okay, I'm not punishing my child, I'm setting the tone and leading my child to where, you know, to the best behavior, to the best space possible for her.
It's not punishment, is it? It's a life skill. If you, you know, like you sleep, you probably had a great childhood, do you know? And you never lose it, you know, at all. You're helping them, so they're not grumpy, they're not cranky, they can focus at school. It's certainly not a punishment, you know.
Definitely. And I think as a nanny as well, because I mean, I've been doing nanny for many years, like yourself. And I think as a nanny, sometimes when you're going into a child and, you know, they're like newborn and you're starting off with them, it makes it so much easier for you now doesn't it? I find that as well. It makes it so much easier because that child will grow up into that pattern, into that routine.
And the reason why they cry is because you're changing a habit. You're breaking down an old habit and trying to reinforce a new habit. And they're going to protest because they quite like it that they're in bed with mummy, so why they can't see a reason to change. So that's where the tears come from.
So we've had a lot of advice for you, young mothers, and not necessarily only young mothers, for all mothers. Thank you so much, Helen, for coming over the show and sharing such useful information. Even for me, I mean, I'm going to adopt that as well. I mean, we can translate that to ourselves as adults as well, because we tend to depend on a lot of props as well. So there you go. That's the message I'm taking out of this. No props, Moti. And we're going to take a short break, but after the break, we'll be back to discuss more on the science of sleep.